I'm Bernie Wiesen. I'm with Cornell Cooperative Extension. I'm the Executive Director, and I'm really happy everybody is joining us tonight. I'm going to keep an eye, make sure that we don't have anybody hanging out in the waiting room. But I am so happy everybody's here, and I'm so particularly happy of everyone that has contributed to making tonight possible. I think you're going to come away with some pretty sweet and tasty ideas to utilize later on in this great holiday season. So with that, I'm going to punt it over to Mary Lee. And Mary Lee, you're going to want to unmute yourself.
There we go. I'll try that again. Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. We are so happy you're here with us tonight. We would love it if you'd like to put your picture on. We get a chance to all be together that way. If you'd like to, we'd love to see you, and we're very, very happy to have you join us. Carmen of Carmen's Cafe in Troy is a very special guest tonight. As you can see her standing in her kitchen.
Can't hear you.
There we go. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to welcome Carmen of Carmen's Cafe. She's an amazing person, and she's offered to share a phenomenal cultural dish, something very special to her and her family, and a lot of love goes into the food she prepares. When she was preparing for this, we could see that. So we're very grateful she's here. I am a board member of Cornell Cooperative Extension for the last 6 years. We welcome all of you now tonight. You are official friends of Cornell Cooperative Extension. So you can put that on your resume. You are very much an integral part of our community, because this is what we do: educate and reach out and help people have better lives. And we hope that we can do that tonight. I think Carmen could start off if that's appropriate. Oh, I do want to say, please feel welcome to put questions in the chat box. We might have a couple questions for you, like what is your favorite holiday sweet? You can pop that in anytime. We'd love to hear your stories also, and feel like part of this event tonight. So I'm glad to see Barbara and Julie and many other people in the group tonight. So Carmen. And I will talk to you especially about our fantastic Harvest Connection. It's a way to connect with farms in our area, and that is a major part of what we do. So, Carmen, if you're ready, we're ready for that. Putting you on.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And well, I guess I'm here. This is my kitchen, and I'm here to show you how to make a flan. A flan is a very traditional dish from Spain that trickled down to the Caribbean and South America. And basically it's a custard pie. So we start with a cup of sugar, and we put the sugar on low. And so let me show you, it's hard to see, but the sugar, you have to keep mixing it, and it becomes a caramel. And this is what's going to go on the bottom of what I use to make a flan. You can use this, or you can use what you would make pies with, and it's up to you. But this goes on the bottom, so I just pour this. Everybody can see right here, and then we mix it around so it really coats the bottom, and I'll show you here like that, and we let it set for a moment so that it hardens a little bit, and when we pour the liquid in, the actual flan, it doesn't stir it up. It's just, this will be already hardened. And then we make, let's see if you can see this, the flan mix. The flan mix is condensed milk and evaporated milk. So 2 cans of condensed, 3 cans of evaporated, 8 eggs, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And that is it. That's the body of the flan. And I put it in a blender, or you can whisk it if you want. And I blend all of the ingredients in here. And then once that's done, and this has set here. Yeah, this is pretty much set. Right there, it's not moving. I pour this wonderful concoction into the receptacle, and you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. Typically, I'll show you how we serve it, because it does concentrate and sort of shrink a little bit after it's in the oven and it's cooked. Now I put it at 300 degrees, 275 to 300 degrees in my oven. And I check it by sort of putting my finger on top of it after about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. And I put my finger, and if there's still, if it's not set and my finger gets full of flan, then I keep it in another 15 minutes so that I make sure that it comes out cooked, but not, what? I'm sorry?
Overcooked.
Not overcooked or undercooked, right. Jim is helping me, my husband. So we put it in the oven, and I put it at 300 in my oven, and it cooks for about, like I said, an hour and 15, an hour and a half. And I check it about after an hour, and once it's cooked, voila, here's your flan. And it's quite aromatic and quite delicious. I take a knife, plastic spatula, and I go around the edges to make sure that everything is free from, because it sort of glues to the sides. So I go around the edges and free it up. And then, here we go. And in the middle as well. Here we go. Give it one more shake to make sure it's loose. Okay. Dish goes on top, and I flip it over. I let it sit for a minute so that that caramelized sugar, which has now sort of melted, comes out, and it sort of fans around the flan itself. And we can use it to, when you serve the flan, you can use it with a spoon to put on top of it to give it, more flavor, sweeter flavor. And voila, we have our flan. You can serve this with, typically I serve it with fruit and homemade whipped cream, right, as on each slice. Slices tend to be a little smaller because it's quite sweet, but this is the flan, the homemade flan.
How many does that serve?
This would probably serve about 8 to 10 people.
Carmen, there is a question in the chat. Do you
Okay.
have to grease the pan first?
No, you don't grease the pan at all. You just pour in the sugar the caramelized sugar. You just pour that in, and that becomes the base for it. There's no grease at all whatsoever.
It is a nonstick pan.
It is a nonstick pan. Jim just reminded me it's a nonstick pan, so that's great. He helps me a lot in the kitchen. And if you have any other questions, I wish we were in person so we could share this, because it's really quite delicious.
Now, Carmen, this is a popular item this time of year in your restaurant, correct?
It's a popular item all year.
all year.
All year. I make it all the time and it's a very popular item, yeah.
Great. And can you tell the difference if you were to use eggs purchased locally? You use a lot of eggs and milk in this recipe. Do you see a difference in the quality when you're using fresh local ingredients?
I personally do, yes. I see a difference in the product. It's just, it's creamier, it's got more flavor, so to speak, you know. And it's, you know, I try to use those products as much as possible, as often as I can.
Wonderful.
I had a question.
Mhm.
I was wondering, when you put the sugar in the pan, I keep thinking there's going to be water added or something else, but you actually just put granulated sugar in a warm pan and it'll brown that way. I've never done it. I just imagine it scorching.
That's it. That's granulated sugar and
No liquid,
no liquid, nothing.
no
It's
butter.
scorched, but obviously you don't put it on high.
Trying to figure out where the liquid comes from. Trying to figure out where the water, how it's melting to liquid.
Yeah, the sugar melts and it melts to liquid. It's amazing, but that's how it happens.
Yes. Excellent.
Wait, Jim has to say something. What?
I can interject 2 notes about the caramel. You don't want to heat it hotter than you have to. Otherwise, when it cools, it'll harden. When it
Okay.
cools, it will get thicker.
Mhm.
Okay.
But the caramelized sugar is a liquid sugar, so
Right.
that's why it flows.
Yep.
As you
Okay.
can see, the stuff on the flan is a lot more liquidy than the stuff in the pan. It probably has absorbed liquid from the egg mixture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It is more like this is, but this does harden and this becomes while you're baking it, it's the bottom. It's at the
Okay.
bottom, but when you flip it over, it's right on top. And that's why that gives it that wonderful caramel color.
Great.
It's really, really delicious, I must say.
So now there is another question in the chat. The question goes, what about the Bain Marie?
Right, so when we put this in the oven, we do put it in a bain-marie, and I usually know the top. I usually, this is too small, but I usually put it in the water would go, I would say, about 1/3 of the way up, and then you put it right in. This is a very, you know, thick one here. If you go, you know, obviously with something like this, you judge it, and you know it goes about 1/3 of the way up, but it does have to be in a bain-marie, or it will dry up the actual flan as it's baking.
It's good to know.
Yeah, I've done it both ways, so I know.
Yeah. Has anyone here, a participant, any of you participating have used that method of in a water bath and baking? I just wondered if others have used that. If anybody wants to put in the chat, that bain-marie, B-A-I-N and then M-A-R-I-E. Right. I have something I'd like to show you. We're talking about the fresh eggs. Oh, you do have something in the chat, Bernie?
We've got another comment. I've used it for cheesecakes. And another, that was Jen. And then Marge says, I have used a water bath for custards.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So we know where we're going for Christmas dinner then, besides Carmen's. Got it.
And then there's another one that just came in. I use that process for creme brulees as well as custards and cheesecake.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and Jane says the same. She says she's also used a bain-marie.
Mhm.
So we've got some
thanks, everybody.
experienced cooks here. I love it. Carmen, okay, got a little test for you. Tell me if this is a fresh or stale egg. Let me know if you think this is a farm fresh egg. Got it right here.
Okay.
You see the egg? I'm gonna crack it
You
without
want-
hitting myself and put this down on something. Okay,
Where are we here? The egg?
right here.
Uh-huh.
How's that look?
It looks very fresh to me.
Yeah.
Pick it up a little bit. It looks very fresh to me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can see it. Looks
Yeah.
beautiful. The color is just beautiful, and it's round like that.
Yeah. Farm
Very-
fresh Rensselaer County eggs. There we go.
There we go.
Definitely check it out on Harvest Connection. You can get some. It does make a difference in the cooking, doesn't it?
It does. It does make a difference. Yes,
Yeah.
truly.
Now let's put this down before I spill it on the computer.
So we're getting a few comments, Mary Lee.
What?
Someone
What's
named
up?
Julie says Mary Lee just took that egg from her backyard.
Okay. I'm trying, Julie. I'm trying. Jen probably has some in her backyard too, I bet.
Probably. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah,
You
we,
know,
go ahead.
feel free to put a question or comment further in the chat. You know, sometimes it takes a bit for us to think of questions. Please know that there will be a PDF sent to everybody. So there'll be a link so that it'll have the content of the recipes and tips on how to make this wonderful dessert, okay? As well as a few other items. So I think with that, we'll pass it to Mary Lee.
Well, before we do, Carmen, I would like to invite Jim for a cameo appearance because the support people are everything.
Yes, they are.
Welcome, Jim.
When you wanted me for a cameo, I would have shared.
It's good to meet you. Thank you. It's really good to see you. Thank you so much for inviting us into your kitchen.
This is a wonderful program. I'm so glad you're doing this. I'm going to stay tuned for the chocolate bark recipe because
All
I don't
right.
know how to make that.
I have to avoid the egg. The other egg I just dropped on the floor. I did. Oh, well. Yeah, we're really glad you're here. Thank you so much. And everybody, please go down to Carmen's Cafe. It's amazing, really. Saturdays and Sundays, right? And I know you also have cooked meals for schools for years.
Right.
So I know you're very conscientious of where you get your ingredients and the care you put into it. So, and thank you so much for coming up from New York to be in Troy years ago.
17 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Jim.
Okay. I'm ready too. If you'd like me to start. I can't.
Please do. Yes.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay, good.
Mary Lee. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, so here we go. First, I'm going to show you what I'm going to make. And what it is chocolate bark. And full disclosure, it's not something I normally make for no good reason. But I did a lot of homework, and I hope that I provide you with some inspiration and motivation to do such. Because it's really started with looking for a chocolatier to do a program for us. And I know Primo Botanica, Oliver Holacek, was invited, and he'll be coming hopefully in the spring. We're going to reconnect. It's a super busy time, but they have amazing chocolates. And I want to read something on the back of this chocolate bar to see why we reach out to organizations like Carmen's and farms locally and other businesses, because we share a lot of values. And some of the write-up on the back of this chocolate bar is an example. This company is one of the first cocoa cooperatives to use regenerative and organic agricultural practices to improve biodiversity and soil fertility. Does that sound familiar for our efforts with cooperative extension? So we really do try to build community. So just wanted to point that out. But with that being said, one of the first things I had to do in order to get the chocolate bark was to figure out which chocolate we can use. And this is phenomenal, very special chocolate. But I have to be honest, it probably would be prohibitive to make a quantity of this for family for gifts. And it is perfect the way it is. So I said, let's find out what else we might use. And it's like anything else in life, it doesn't come out better if you start with mediocre ingredients. So use the ingredients that you can afford, and it's special, so try to lift it up a notch if you can. I did a little research, and I learned that regular chocolate chips often have an additive to keep the shape of the chocolate chip. So I did a little research and found a site that recommended chocolate for bark. And these are chocolates that'll be familiar to you. And I probably won't pronounce them correctly. Guittard, Guittard. You can get it. I did get it at the food co-op. It's probably other places. It's considered above is the link to the recipe. Okay. And that is a company that's recommended on this, and I happen to find it later. So I was sleuthing around trying to find a little bit better chocolate than I might. And so that was on this list. Ghirardelli, there's a 60% bittersweet chocolate chip. Okay. Full disclosure, Trader Joe's, I could have reached in my closet last week, but it's gone. Those Trader Joe's Pound Plus bars, the dark cacao bars, they're 54%. And last couple of years, they've had even 2-pound bars. So it was even a better price. But that melts in your mouth in ways that you'll remember. And then Ghirardelli 60% bittersweet baking bar. So the chocolate chips and the baking bar would work. The Guittard semi-sweet baking bar also. Don't have to just be the chips. There's another one called, I think it's Valhoma, Valhoma. I should have printed it, but I didn't. And then there's another one that's the Calibart, which I also have here. Anyway, I also bought that at the co-op by chance. Callebaut. It's a Belgium semi-sweet chocolate. Another one is Charfine, and another Galabart in white chocolate. All white chocolate is not created equal. And the Ghirardelli white melting wafers. So in my item that I made today, which is peppermint chocolate bark, it uses dark chocolate and white chocolate. So I'm going to get started and show you what it looks like. Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the bark finished. You know what we're heading for. You can see that's the dark layer underneath. That's the dark chocolate and the white chocolate on top. And then this is crushed peppermint. And with it, you use a peppermint extract. And the extract, not the oil. You could use an edible oil if it says for consumable, consumption, but consuming. But the extract can be found places. So I did buy it in bulk, and it will keep your mice out of your cabinets. That's another trick I learned from some people. But it is a great way to buy it in bulk. So the extract, and that took me a little time to learn that. Because there is a little bottle of essential oil that is consumable. This particular brand is. So you really have to be careful. But this is $12, and this might have been $4 or $5. I mean, it might have been like $15 a pound, which goes pretty far, something like that. So this is amazing, and that's the preferred because you know what you're getting, and you might don't want to make a mistake. Okay, so let me get my notes here. So the most important thing in prepping is gathering your ingredients. So we're going to make chocolate bark, chocolate peppermint bark. So gather your ingredients, get them all together. Don't go saying I'll go down the store, get more, get them all together. And remember to select the quality chocolate. So consider that in quantity. Here's what the chocolate chips do look like. This is the Calibart chocolate chips, and they are incredibly dark. They smell fantastic, and they melt in the mouth. The extract, and then all of the toppings. You can dream on about your toppings. What you like with chocolate could be considered for the topping. One thing I learned was you can take the nuts and toast them first. As we know, most things roasted or toasted have a more intense flavor. So consider roasting them. But remember, if you do toast them, watch them carefully. They can change from a nice flavor to a quick burnt flavor. So really watch them, stir them very carefully. So choose the kind of nuts that you like. And other toppings are dried fruits. So I did go and look around for some different fruits. I wanted some colorful fruits. So this has, excuse me, let me check this out. Goji berries. I thought they were colorful. It has some currants. different kinds of currants. I think some white cherries, some really pretty ones. So that would be for regular bark, not for the peppermint bark. But these are toppings I'm talking about generally in bark to put on chocolate bark. And another one is pepita seeds, so pumpkin seeds. And you can get them salted. Salted with chocolate is nice. Just a little bit of salt. You don't have to have it, but don't shy away from it because it does add a nice spark. It's that extra taste that you get that, stirs it. And this toasted coconut, you can do pretzels, chopped pretzels or crushed pretzels. But tonight we're going to do candy cane. As you can see, the tree, we did our best to get into the season with that. So what I did was spend about 3 hours peeling the plastic off of candy canes. So I would recommend you buy, I see you smiling out there, I know. I would recommend buying larger pieces of peppermint because as much as you think you're going to enjoy smashing something, it breaks through the bag, you get little pieces around, and it takes a long time. And the worst thing is make sure when you peel them, you're gonna have to, cut it with a scissors. And then this is all static electricity. So it's sticking to your hand, it's a broken piece on your shoulder, on your elbow, and it's over your food that you think is going to be wonderful to eat. So do that in another spot. Do what you can to keep all the plastic over there. And I would recommend buying bigger pieces of candy. So we have this in a plastic bag. Hold on, I have to get my rolling pin I had here. Oh, here it is. So the first thing you do is get your peppermint candies, put them right on the chopping board. Can you see that okay? And you're going to do just what you'd always dream of doing and everybody says don't do. I'm sure somebody out there has a little ditty you can sing while we're smashing these. Just smash them to the size that you'd like them to be. Okay, so, and then of course you have then some great topping ready to go. Okay, that's all set. So now we get the toppings ready, toast the nuts, get everything ready ahead of time. Don't be doing it after you're melting the chocolate in the microwave saying, I have 30 seconds, I'll go do this. Can't do that. So, okay, so then what I do is, this particular recipe calls for 12 ounces or 16 ounces of dark chocolate. It actually says 12 ounces of dark and 16 of white, but I just would do the same. It's not important enough. Half a teaspoon of peppermint extract and 3/4 cup of the crushed candy cane. Here's the most important thing. Right down here, I'm not going to go to the microwave because I'll be disappearing for 30 seconds every few minutes. But what I do is I just use a pie plate or something I can put in the microwave. You can do it on a double boiler. You want to heat the chocolate chips in 30-second increments. So maybe the first time I put my amount in, put this in the microwave, and put it on for 30 seconds. Nothing really much is going to change, but distribute the heat. So pretend I just went to the microwave and I'm distributing heat. And pretty much they look like this when they come out so far. Then I put it back in. Every time, every 30 seconds on high heat, you take it out and you stir it. And the heat around it will distribute. And it won't look like it's melting, but it will be. Then again, 30 seconds, go back and stir it up. Finally, after 2 minutes, the chocolate will still have bumps in it, but take it out after 2 minutes, come back and stir and stir and stir, and the heat will distribute. Do not wait until the microwave melts it all, because by the time you take it out, there's still heat distributing and it will be past its prime. We don't want to see that. It's not that much fun. Stir it. You want it to be smooth, okay? So take it out sooner than you think, but pretty much 2 minutes the most, every 30 seconds stirring, okay? Then you put it on a pan, a cookie sheet, and you get this. with a cookie sheet or any pan that you want to put it on. Let me get my parchment paper. I'm gonna take parchment paper. You can get it online or just the regular from the grocery store. You just put the parchment paper down. This is melted chocolate chips. So it's melted chocolate. And I can go over and do this, but I don't think you want blank space for 2 or 3 minutes. But it's going to be smooth chocolate. And as you can imagine how it comes out, silky smooth. And all you're going to do is take a spoon and spread it right on there. And, make a rectangular shape or whatever shape. You're going to break it apart or cut it if you choose. Generally, bark, I see it mostly broken, but you can cut it also. So first you're going to spread it and make it smooth like that. And then put it in the refrigerator for 15 minutes to set. And there is a thing in chocolate, which I have not mastered, nor have I tried too hard, is to temper it. But pretty much it's intended to get it to an ideal temperature. And I believe it is, let me check on here. I think it's 80, don't quote me on that, but if you're heating it in a double boiler, like I made a makeshift double boiler, which would be my electric fry pan, and I could put water in and then put the pie plate on top. And I just put a resting thing because I didn't want to have contact with the water, with the hot part. But I would have this boiling, this simmering, not boiling, simmering, not boiling water, just simmering. And I would have it in there and I'd have my pie plate on there and I'd be stirring on this. So some people don't have microwaves, nor do they choose to use them. So that's another way to do it. One of the recommendations that I was learning about was to do only 2/3 of the chocolate at one time. Heat it, like I said, 30 seconds, stir, 30 seconds, stir, up to about 2 minutes. And then at the end, at that 2 minutes, add the other last 1/3. So you put 2/3 chocolate, melt it. Then at the end, and this is all finely chopped chocolate, at the end, stir in that last 1/3, and the heat will smooth it out. It will melt the rest of that 1/3, and then you get it right to the right spot. Okay? I say that because I learned the hard way. Because after you spread the dark chocolate, you're going to do the same thing with the white chocolate. Microwave it, stir, and if everybody remembers anything, every 30 seconds, take it out and stir it. Do not overdo. And when it's in lumps, that's when it's about right to take it out and it'll warm up. Leave it set for a minute or two and it will keep, and you'll get to the perfect spot. But with the white chocolate, kind of heats up sooner. So I learned that the hard way. And I had to start again. It heats up sooner, so you don't have to do it as long. So watch it more carefully. But there is a little remedy if you find it gets clumpy. It becomes like thick and pasty, and not even pasty, clumpy, like old Play-Doh clumpy. You can add one tablespoon of oil. It could be, I use coconut oil. Could be vegetable oil. It could be butter. Add it to the warmed chocolate and it will bring it back to a smoothness. Not if it's overcooked and crystallized, but if you've gotten it way too thick, and white chocolate has more of a tendency to do that. So I just want to say that. So you've done the dark chocolate, you've spread it, put it in the refrigerator, let it set. Now you're doing the white chocolate, time it so that it's at the end of 15 minutes, your white chocolate is now warmed. So you can wait till after the 15 minutes, take it out. It's okay now on the counter. Then go do your warm white chocolate because you'll have unset dark chocolate and you're smearing it with the white chocolate on top. Okay. And then you just spread it on there. And then you take the crushed chips and spread that on and let that set in the refrigerator. Now, if you do it right, you don't need to refrigerate this. This should be able to be kept out. If you do it really right, you'll have a very shiny chocolate. If you don't, it's okay. It's just not as pretty. It's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't have even known. I just would have been eating the chocolate. But if you do it, if you temper it perfectly, it should stay glossy or be glossy, okay? So, but this one's pretty good. Okay. So that's that peppermint bark chocolate. Now what we can do at this point, I just want to show you how to make it really good when you're packaging it up, or how you might suggest, and please come up with some ideas. You do it. Let me get my. Anybody have any questions? What I might do is take for serving, I might take for serving, what I really mean is by gift giving is what I'm really saying. I might take a doily. These are just like really nice plates from some beautiful country. And they were just so lovely. And I said, that's a really nice gift plate. So I would do that. And I'll just say I could break this up and I'll just do it by hand now. Oops. So you can just take pieces of the bark and break it up. They say kind of large pieces and just put it on there in a really nice, you know, kind of natural way. And have a beautiful holiday place. And then you can wrap this with tissue or wax paper or plastic, and you can stack it up, or as many as you're willing to give away. And you can, you really use wax paper. Do your beautiful folds or whatever it takes that make you feel like it's a special gift. And take your ribbon, tie it up. But if you wanted to bring it as a gift, then I would be folding it really nicely, depending on who I'm giving it to. So you get the idea. You can tie it all up and make it look really nice. That's not going to do it, but you get the idea of tying a bow on it, put some evergreen cuts on it. So that would be a nice gift that way. Also, a friend of mine just gave me this beautiful basket, this woven basket for Thanksgiving. But I thought, what a beautiful thing to give away with these chocolates wrapped with ribbons, each one with a ribbon, and you can use those snack bags. You can use parchment paper and wrap each one beautifully, and make each one a special gift, and tie those up with ribbons. And you can, you could load this up with the chocolates that way and make it a nice display. You can put those in there with the ribbons, or use those little plastic bags. And if you cut off the edges, it looks more festive. Also, there's the cellophane bags you can buy. Also, those small snack bags they work well too. So, you can have a little fun with it and make it festive like that. With some really sharp stuff. Just gives you a really good holiday feel. Another thing to do.
Yes. There's a quick question in the chat.
Sure.
And it is, how can you tell from Carmen? Hang on. It just moved on me. I apologize. Let me go back up. Actually, there was a question from Catherine. I've had problems with the white chocolate separating from the dark layer when I break it up. What am I doing wrong?
You're probably doing exactly what I was trying to camouflage, just happened with me.
Okay.
It did that also, and I'm not sure why, to be honest. I'm just not sure. I don't know if I had it in the refrigerator for 15, 20 minutes. The chocolate looked very set. And that I just discovered also. So I'm sorry to say I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
So I'd have to look that up, and maybe we can put that in our information at the end
Sure.
when we send it out.
That's
so
perfect.
I wish I had the answer to that.
Now Carmen has another question as well. How can you tell when the chocolate reaches the right temperature when you are tempering it?
Well, a candy thermometer, of course, would give you that information. And if I had my sheet right in front of me, I had it right here, and I'm going to see if I can find it. I know it's on the recipe. I did look it up about tempering it, not using the microwave, but heating it. And I do believe it was somewhere between 80 and 100, but I don't want to be quoted on that. So that too, I can put in the information. I'm sorry to not have that.
That's perfect.
I'm a chocolate maker in training.
That's perfect, Mary Lee. We appreciate it. You've taught me a lot.
Trying.
So listen, Jane had a comment. She said you could also use a pastry bag with a ribbon.
Oh, a pastry bag with what?
A ribbon.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of these, if it fits, it ships boxes. So things like this can go right in. put popcorn around it, no oil or butter or anything on it, but just pack it if you want to have other kinds of stuffing. But those fit ships boxes any weight it is. So you can see how generous you want to be with your fudge. But this is like $9 and you can pack a lot when you're motivated by a size and no weight concerns. And this you can probably move out of your house if they get big. So yeah, so that's the chocolate part. And I definitely, I did make another one. I meant to say that. And this one,
Did you just step on the egg?
I'm sorry, nobody was supposed to notice. Anyway, so this is also a different kind, and it's not peppermint, but it's just the white chocolate with the dark chocolate. And full disclosure, see how it's not as shiny? I'm being honest. It could be tempered, so, but like I said, I'm in training. So, but I did have fun picking things that I thought might be nice on top, like the healthier stuff, like the pepita, the pumpkin seeds, and the goji berries was red, and the white almonds. Probably I might have drizzled more chocolate on top to give it a festive look also. But I can't remember who said theirs broke apart. See, now this one isn't breaking apart. So the first one did break it apart. So I'm not sure what I did differently. So that's a good thing. We can all learn from that, and I'll find the answer to that. But I can assure you these are delicious. Really good.
So actually, Mary Lee, there have been some really good pointers coming into the chat. So Marcy
Good.
says the best white chocolate for melting comes in bar form. And you can totally use white chocolate chips, but bars will melt more easily and often have a smoother consistency.
Good to know.
So it says, Marcy says, pour the white, I gotta scroll down, pour the white chocolate on before the dark chocolate has fully set. This will prevent the layers from separating.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Is that Marcy, one of the
That
staff
was
members at
Marcy.
Cooperative
That was
Extension?
Marcy. Yes.
Thank you, Marcy.
Yes. Now, Marge also says, it says online that if your dark chocolate layer gets too cold, it will separate from the white. Let it come to room temperature before breaking apart to also help layers from breaking apart. So thank you, Marcy and Marge.
Perfect. Thank you for being on top of that. And I did have the chocolate, the dark chocolate in the refrigerator a little longer. And then when I took it out, I did pour the warm on the cool. So that's probably exactly what happened.
Perfect.
Thank you. There, your taxpayer dollar at work, CCE staff, doing the work. Okay. One last thing I do want to show you is I did do dried raspberries because I love raspberries. We do get a good amount of them here by good luck. And so this is 4 cups of raspberries. Now, I looked in the USDA books and it says it's not the recommended, one of the recommended fruits to dry, but it's acceptable. Some extension resources said it's fine. You can use it and do it, but it's not like the ideal. It has a lot of seeds. I don't mind the seeds because the raspberry packs such a punch when it's dry. And I would be using this chopped up or cut up in a way and sprinkle it on top of my chocolate, because I think that's an amazing combination, and maybe some nuts on there too. So I just wanted to show you that. So I just started these this morning at like 8 o'clock, and it was just frozen raspberries. You saw on the slideshow all of those bags of frozen fruits. Well, I just took 2 of those bags of raspberries, and you can see what it feels like. It's almost a fruit leather. But I would be, I had this in my oven, and a lot of ovens don't go below like the 160. Ideally, you dry inside the oven at 140 if you're going to use your oven. It's really nice when you don't need another piece of equipment. So my oven happens to go to 150. It does. So I said, okay, I have to be under 160 because otherwise it will cook the fruit. I just want to dry it. So I did, though. I kept checking it, and my oven is a convection oven, so I can't have it open like some suggest. Have the oven open and put a fan by it. and you can have the air flow through and you'll get it to the lower temperature you would prefer. A lot of ovens only go higher than the 160. But I suggest everybody do what I also did to learn more about my oven. Go to your book on the oven. You will maybe be very surprised what your oven can do. We assume we know certain things. Look up, and if not, go online and see the current information and find out if your oven has a way to turn it down to a warmer, meaning only warm setting to a certain degree that you want. And of course, have always have a double checking with temperature, oven temperature gauge. Okay, that's going to double check. Okay, don't trust your numbers on your outside gauge. Okay, but you will learn a lot if you check your own oven book. Just like Carmen was saying, every oven's a little different. So she said 300 degrees for the pudding flan, but check your oven. It may be higher or lower. So learn how to see when things are ready or done or cooked. Okay, that's the real deal, not the technical numbers. We keep within the range and be safe. But anyway, so that's my spiel on cooking with making the chocolate bark, and the tips on the fruits. Again, the fruit for dehydrating, 140 degrees is ideal. Some fruits you might want to preheat with, pre-treat with ascorbic acid, but only certain ones like berries you don't need to. Highly recommend. There's a lot of master food preservers out there. I see some, and those that are really interested, check your resources. Extension. This is an extension publication. The University of Georgia is like the best around. It has all the USDA recommendations, and any extension information that you get would be along those same lines of very much careful about food safety first. And the last thing I'm going to say about dehydrating or freezing or cooking is how you store it in between the time you've made it and the time you eat it. Like with freezing, you freeze it thawed quickly. Don't leave it on the counter. That's an example. Same thing with the foods. You've dehydrated this. You'll need to condition it in a plastic bag so that if there's a wetter part and a drier part, it evens out. So you do that for 2 or 3 days. But that also helps make sure you're only at the temperature, the moisture content you need to be, not higher. If there's moisture that adds up in the bag, you put it back in the oven and dry it longer. So check with the recommendations from the USDA. That they're there for us, and it's all about food safety first, okay? But now we're on to the enjoyment part once you get past the food safety part. So I think, I do have something about Harvest Connection. If are there any questions about the bark, and does it look good? Would you like some? Would you like to make some? What do you think? And what's your favorite? Do you have toppings that you've put on chocolate bark that you've enjoyed? So please put that in the chat box. We'd love to know. Maybe even tell us what your favorite sweet is during the holidays. That would be a good one. I'd like to know.
So Mary Lee, a quick question. So once you make the bark, what's the best way to store it? So if you make the bark on a weekend and then you're going to use it as a gift maybe later in the week, what's the best way to preserve it?
Well, if we were perfect chocolate makers, we would know we tempered it correctly. So if it's properly tempered, you can leave it out for a long time. For me, I would probably keep it in my refrigerator in a sealed container, and then I'm sure. Okay, so that's what I would do. Shipping it in the mail, that's not a problem for a few days, but for the long run, you're not adding eggs, you're not adding other things. Things are not uncooked. So everything is cooked and completed. It's already value added. It's already settled. So, but definitely I would, do what was recommended and keep it in a cool, dark place, probably under 70 degrees. I did check that. And that's the ideal. And if you aren't sure, then put it in the refrigerator.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Lee. I don't see anything coming into the chat. I'm just going up. I feel like Jen, hang on, let me go up there.
I saw something.
I make a treat. This is Jen. I make a treat that is just melted white chocolate that you dip fresh cranberries in and let it harden. And it's so good. You would not believe it's fresh cranberry.
Wow.
With no other sugar other than the melted chocolate.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
And
I
bet
would
it's
never
pretty,
guess that.
too. Yeah, very pretty. Nice. Thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
And so with that, I guess the cooperative extension side also, of course, we are known for our nutrition education. And to be perfectly frank, the items that we shared tonight may not fall into a food category that you'd find on the USDA My Plate very handily. But I will say that one thing that we do say to everyone, that really you can eat just about anything as long as it is in moderation. So it is okay to treat yourselves to nice little delicious treats like we shared today. And especially if there are contents such as dried fruit and other items that were mentioned tonight. So, keep that in mind. It's okay, moderation, it'll be fine.
And I did see on this recipe for the peppermint bark, it has a whole nutrition section. We'll probably skip the calorie part, and the carb part, we'll put that aside, and the fat part. But I do see vitamin C, 0.2. Let me see sodium. Well, we'll skip that too. But iron, calcium, there are trace elements, and it does matter what you put on top, if it's, fruits and nuts, in defense of the chocolate bark.
Well, I don't see anything else coming into the chat. Perfect. Harvest Connection.
Yes. I do want to say, please go to the farms, visit the farms. I've gone with friends. It's been so fun to go. Just hop in your car and stop at these different farms and little stands by the road and call and look online. There's an app. It's called harvestconnection-ny.com. Look it up. You put your zip code in, I believe it is, and you can find lists of things that you would choose from. Like, you might want to go look for a Christmas tree. You might want to see wreaths. You might want to have some potted plants. You might want eggnog right now, or a fresh turkey like I did buy at Laughing Earth Farm for the first time, right from the farm this week. I have gotten, I think, literally 7 meals out of them, all very different. A friend of mine said, this shouldn't even be called turkey. This is so different, the farm fresh. And another friend said, no, the other stuff should not be called turkey. This is the real food, the really wonderful stuff. It truly tasted different. It was amazing. So I have made a lot of wonderful food from what we have right here in Rensselaer County. We're a gold mine of good nutrition and people that care about each other, a lot of community builders in the food and soil building world here. So we appreciate it. And all of the organizations and businesses like Carmen's that reach out and really care about the businesses around us and the people that are growing our food. They're nourishing us. So I highly recommend you get the app. You look up what you're looking for. There's a list of things you can get: meat, beef, poultry, pork, high tunnel greens, eggs, milk, fresh eggnog, creams, lots of wonderful foods and gifts. So if you're looking for keeping yourself healthy and keeping gas not being used, traveling around, etc., all of those things that we've all been more conscious of these last few years, please go right to this and get to know your neighbors, people that are producing. They care about us, and we care about them too.
Great. And with that, I'm just going to thank everybody. I don't see any more questions, but I do see great comments of thank you and appreciation for the presentation tonight. I do want to thank Mary Lee, who wears several hats. She's our master food preserver. She's the chair of our marketing committee and our board of directors president. Thank you so much for bringing so much knowledge and enthusiasm and expertise.
My privilege.
Marcy Vanaka. She is our CCE communications coordinator. And so you will be getting some follow-up information as we talked about with the recipes to this particular session. I want to thank Carmen and Jim. That was fun to be in their kitchen, and it was great. That I had never heard of flan, until we started talking about this as part of this session. So I definitely learned from scratch what flan was. So thank you. And Jim, thank you for being the technical helper there behind the scenes in the kitchen.
I'd like to make a shout out. There's a lot of master gardeners out there I'm seeing, and some food preservers and some neighbors that have participated with things of cooperative extension, and many, many new names, new to me, which doesn't mean that much, just that they're new to me for this organization here. And I'm really happy to see you, Jen and Joan, and Julie, and so many, and there's a Patrick and Jean Jeanette, I see you, and Marthann, just so many people. I'm so glad that you're here, and come again soon, and let us know what you're interested in. We are responsive. We try to do programs the community's interested in. If you let us know, we'll reach out to those that can help us out and put that out there. Okay. And co-op, we are like the public library, what it used to be. Remember the what is that? The desk, the information desk, the reference desk. That's what cooperative extension is. You can call, we're Google in action. That's what we are. You can call us and we'll help you find out some answers to things.
So with that, I think I might run the slideshow one more time, if that's okay. So people feel free to hang on and watch the slideshow, or not, go ahead and sign off. And I wish everybody a happy holiday. Thanks, everyone.